The Legend of Zelda games are always a staple of every Nintendo console. Since the earliest days on the NES, at least one Zelda game is basically a requirement for each new system. And over the years, each game brought something new and fresh to the series. With Nintendo's handheld consoles, Link's adventures would take him to Koholint Island in Link's Awakening for the original Game Boy, where he wakes up on a beach after weathering a storm at sea. In Oracle of Ages and Seasons, Link is transported to two different realms, Labrynna and Holodrum, where he seeks the 8 essences. When time came to create a new Zelda game for Nintendo's successor to the Game Boy Advance, series creator Shigeru Miyamoto and director Eiji Onuma would oversee development of the next entry, the Minish Cap, by Capcom and Flagship, who had produced both Oracle of Ages and Seasons. The Minish Cap saw Link's return to Hyrule, however featured some brand new weapons and abilities, including the ability to shrink Link down in size via Ezlo, also known as the Minish Cap. This mechanic was a key element of the game, allowing Link to access new areas, solve puzzles, and even fight enemies. While this ability does have its disadvantages, such as small holes that Link could normally jump into now becoming a pit that causes him damage, or ledges that Link could once easily bypass now being inaccessible, it's really the new ability that the game hangs its Minish Cap on. Another new feature of the game was the ability to fuse little items called kinstones. Throughout the game, different pieces of kinstones can be found that allows Link to fuse with other kinstones held by characters throughout the game. While there are several scenarios that require the player to fuse the right kinstones to progress, the kinstones themselves don't really add a whole lot to the gameplay. And while yes, they can provide nice little rewards at times, the benefits don't really outweigh the effort it takes to locate the stones and find the right character to fuse them with. There are also several new items at Link's disposal, such as the mole mitts, which allow Link to dig through different areas, a fun little feature that can help Link to progress and find items. And the Cane of Patchy, which allows Link to flip objects and turn small holes into little springboards, from which Link can jump. However, perhaps the most useful new item is the Blow Jar, which lets Link blow over some enemies to make them more vulnerable or stunned temporarily, and the ability to move objects like leaves that Link stands on to allow him to cross water. The Minish Cap's different locations and environments are quite diverse. Link's quest takes him everywhere from the murky wetlands of Castor Wilds to the chilling graveyard of the Royal Valley, and even high up into the cloud tops. The sprite work is beautifully designed, particularly in Minish form, where Link treks through giant foliage in Minish Village, or even through bookshelves in a library. These areas are all complemented very well by the lovely soundtrack, composed by Mitsuhiko Takano, a newbie to the series who did a great job capturing the Zelda flavor in the compositions. The dungeon design is perhaps the greatest strength of the game. Like most top-down Zelda games, a lot of puzzle solving and utilization of power-ups obtained within the dungeon forms the overall strategy of traversing the various dungeons. This also includes stuff like standing on magical pads to make multiple clone links that allow you to push heavy objects or navigate a maze to obtain a key. The bosses were also well designed, and like the dungeons, do a nice job of making the player exercise the use of Link's items and abilities. Overall, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap is a solid entry to the Legend of Zelda series, although I'd say it doesn't do anything particularly special to make it stand out. The Minish ability and the dungeon design were both well executed. However, the story, items, and side quests aren't all that special, and stuff like fusing kinstones and some of the items just don't really land particularly well. I also found the game weirdly cryptic at times, particularly with the kinstones. That said, it's still a really good, mid-tier Zelda game, and an essential game for the Game Boy Advance. It's definitely got its own little charm, but with so many other more epic Zelda titles, particularly other top-down Zeldas such as A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, and even Link's Awakening, that do the formula so much better, it's hard to truly call this game a masterpiece. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this video, I really appreciate it. I've got more retro reviews coming. My next retro review will be of a Super Nintendo game, so please keep an eye out for that. Also, I have lots of other retro gaming content, which I'll have linked here at the end, which you can check out, and I'd appreciate it if you could check out our friendly neighborhood Discord if you want to get just a little deeper into what this channel's all about. Till next time, peace.